back in the day when I was a kid, and in college, actually, iPods were just coming out. So we weren't running our DJs sessions off of iPods yet. We were basically had old CDs or CDs that we made our own burned CDs, and then we would put them in like a 6-disc CD changer, right?
Shout out.
Like, but I kind of think about like life for all of us is like how we choose to invest not only our money, but also our time, our energy, and our talent. And it's like, those are really the 4 resources that each of us have that are kind of interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
And it ultimately comes the question of like, hey, for your life now, there's all these playlists on all these old CDs. It's like, and this is the life that you choose to live. And the question is it really the life that you want?
Yeah, I think I like to ask, like, is it working? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many times have we kind of just like shuffled our feet and been like, well, that's the way it is. Well, no, that's a way. And so this is a good opportunity to step back and say, like, is it working? Like, you have agency over that. And so now with this blank canvas, we get to design it.
Absolutely. So like, I know the work that you and I do at our firms, what we do first, unless something is really urgent financially for a client, looking at the money side of things, we really want to take the time for an individual and for couples. And couples are just 2 individuals who choose to walk through life together.
Mm-hmm.
So they shouldn't have the exact same goals in life. They probably have slightly different goals,
Yep.
right? I think about you and your wife and the sports that you partake in. You don't share the exact same passions, right?
She does not own a set of golf clubs, and I will probably never, even though this is being recorded, run a marathon. We'll see. But very different goals.
Now that it's recorded, you have to do it. But the point is that the question is ultimately like, what are the things, the essential elements that need to be in your life so that you feel like you're really truly flourishing? If you design life that way and then you aim for that, life just becomes better. We usually end up feeling like we're more, I think authenticity's played up a lot these days, but people in their true authentic selves are the people who show up and optimize their time, money, energy, and talent for the life that they want, not the life that society tells them or their parents tell them or their boss tells them, but the life that they want to live.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's actually on my to-do list right now. Maybe we'll link to it in the show notes. But the UC Berkeley put out a tremendous white paper on like wonder and productivity and play and enchantment. And one of the things the study found was that when you put that first as your goal and you build around that,
Mm-hmm.
you end up being more successful. You end up accomplishing all these things because you're a healthier, holistic being as a result. Instead of, let me just add this to it and let me measure myself externally by the things that I accomplish.
Totally. That reminds me of an advisor in our space. I remember hearing him on a podcast a year or 2 ago. And he was talking about the idea that like, because for him to flourish, he loved to be a part of the other advisors across the country. So he ended up being on a national board and, for one of our big organizations and traveling all the time and traveling way more than he thought he should. But yet he realized after the fact that his business grew so much more during that year than in any other year because he was, in your sense, flourishing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And was showing up really alive.
Yeah. So I think that's the foundation that we have to start from. And what's interesting too is I want to say it doesn't have to make financial sense, but it doesn't need to be optimized. I think when we start to think of goals, it's like, okay, I'm going to max this out. I'm going to save this much, or I'm going to get out of debt. And a lot of those things are important. But, in our own personal life, I'll speak to my wife and I, one of our goals this year is to make less money, but spend more time together.
Yes.
And so rather than having, the 60-hour work week, like, hey, what if we just say no to that? We hit pause. We play a different game, and it's the game that works for us. But if we don't set that intention at the beginning of the year and continue to make sure we stay on track, like we're going to drift. We're going to work 60 hours like we always have. We'll optimize, but we're playing the wrong game. The ladder's leaning against the wrong wall. So we have to start there first to figure out what do we want.
No, you're nailing. Love that example, and similarly, and this is where I truly do feel for clients that you have time, money, energy, and talent to deploy, right? And so, like an example in our household is that my wife, after years of both of us working, she chose to step back from work, and she's being a stay-at-home mom right now because that's her passion. Yep. Now, monetarily, from an advisor standpoint, that's a horrible choice, right? But the point is that that's the choice of finance. The thing that I love about it is that it is art. It's not science. Mm-hmm. It's not just work 60 hours and go build up a bunch of cash so you can eventually retire. We only have a limited amount of time with our boys in our house. Mm-hmm. So I would much rather us work a little bit more after they're out of the house than work all the time, have our head down, let them be raised by someone else so that I don't get the opportunity to be with them. Now, that's our choice. Mm-hmm. There are other people who both parents working is exactly what they want because it's exactly the life they want to live. And there's nothing wrong with that either. The point is that everyone should get to choose their own path.